it's the same end goal either way. And Incineroar reacts very well to it. So with Shaine keeping in from winner's side, let's see if he can just react all over again. We bring ourselves right on back to small battlefields.
Oh, whoosh into 3 up airs and looking for more. I like that. I like that awareness and the development of the combo tree, because you did kind of hit the nail on the head. Hero is going to be doing generally a couple of things. It's just the counterplay to those things in specific can get a little bit daunting. But once you start to generalize what Hero wants in a lot of spots, some of the cracks can really show. But get overwhelmed by some of that RNG momentum, or just looking for ways to out-kaboom specifically, or whatever have you, then you can get overwhelmed a little bit.
Alright, gets his alone whip. It's going to revert stage control. Where does Zoom put us? Right in the wrong spot. The very edge of a Alolan whip, managing to grab out Hero, and that's our first kill, followed very swiftly by our second.
I wonder how the randomness algorithm works for Zoom.
I got it. Like, looking at the numbers, I feel it can only, like, worsen my health. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, dude. I love the crunchy bits of Ultimate, but Hero is, like, the rabbit hole to Wonderland. There's just way too much to know about this character, and I feel like we're better off just sort of guessing.
Yeah, I mean, it is random. I'm just thinking of, like, you have to probably take in the X position of the stage, and no, because that would go from blast to blast. So never mind.
See? You peer into the madness long enough, it just hurts.
I don't know. There's a lot of content in this game.
That's a real nice way of putting it. Bringing ourselves back to the match, these two just had just a slugfest. 129 to 95 on the percentages, and it's a dangerous spot for both of these characters to be in, but ultimately it's the stage positioning that's been working out so well once again, just picking off to the side.
And he's using the Alolan Whip not only as a threatening grab, but also as a means of movement so much more effectively than I see a lot of okay, you're at 146. Like, that's like an 80% chance or 90% chance or something. Up airs. Like, every stock just feels like a completely new game between these two so many times. Like, it's just like fresh start. Oh, I'll do 100. Fresh start. I'm gonna hit you with some shenanigans.
Oh, he's got to be careful on shield. You know, one thing we haven't seen that is a constant of Hero, Psycho plus Oomph with down air will break full shield. I think the only characters that survive that are like DDD and Bowser on full shield. Everyone else just gets popped like a balloon. And while Psycho has typically been accompanied by up tilt and working wonders, I feel like you still gotta be careful.
He's looking for grab right now. That Psychop's gonna last until he finds a proper hit, and he's looking for up tilts and he's looking for an up throw, because both will kill. How much do you risk looking for 2 hits as opposed to the normal kit that every character goes for? No mana, so he recovers for free.
Oh, why did you do that? Oh, I want to
assume
that was either a hell of a call out on Harley or Ivor. That was a missing, but a cross chop into nothingness leads to Staiga boosted dash attack. That's gonna lead it more.
Yeah, that's gonna put a mean chop in this poor cat. But that game was getting for the way that last arc started. Excuse me, my Brooklyn.
In case you doubted that we're from Tri-State, there you go.
The way that last arc started, it would have been a heck of a comeback to make it from 146, or yeah, even higher, 172 back from all the way to winning that game. But from what I recall, Kage did win game 1 prior, so maybe Shaine just needs to shake off the rust a little bit.
You know, it's a shame, too, because that was a really impressive return to the stage from the Incineroar. But just crush up while Hero's on the other side of the stage, I have to assume that was a misinput.
It has to.
Like, there was just way too big of a YOLO option for no reason. But if we don't see buttons like that, I feel like this could once again swing in favor of Incineroar. It's too hard to tell where the momentum lies for either of these players because it gets snatched away from the others so quickly.
Yeah, they kind of are. They're feeding into the swingy nature of this matchup and are taking every interaction like it's fresh, which can sometimes mean you're not gonna have as many of the true hard read moments, but instead you just get a roll of the dice every time both of them come into contact with each other, which I couldn't be happy, to be honest.
Oh,
He's
the
dead.
situation. Yeah, no, he's playing. Yeah. Yo, he went for all, though. The approaching Alolan Whip to try and get something going. Like, I like the attempt. It's just too much.
Definitely a solid idea. And there's far and away, like, time to make this up. But
like we've seen, regardless of the deficit that these players lie in, like, it's still going to come down to like a last hit situation. That's been the case. Down tilt picking up off the ledge, the follow with the forward air, just like that. And even
that down tilt is so crazy. And a well-timed neutral get up into the buffered instant dash attack. Like, he's very aware of the way that Kage likes to approach in mid. Never mind.
Yo, sometimes they're just animals. Honestly, sometimes they're just animals.
It's hard to really look at just a really solid string when you got hit by a swoosh into dare, which just is a thing, and it's a thing that Kage has gone for throughout his stints at DNA.EXE and hit many a time. So it's a really, really good reversal.
Ooh, a very low-sitting back air. Nearly getting it done, and I feel like Rising Dare would have been the better option, but he's still alive and kicking. A little worse for wear, but still very much in a position to even up this game. And Incineroar not doing as much as I would hope for Kage. In fact, they're just leading him into Death's Embrace even faster.
The sizzle coming through was really huge to kind of keep Shaine to the air. He wants to make sure he keeps jumping so that he goes for a lot. So a lot of these air-to-airs do fall in the fact of, hey, Kage ends up having a bigger sword. But a little bit of deja vu is kind of hitting me.
Yeah, no, this is a very dangerous situation. This is, with a lack of mana. Oh, we're out here. We're so out here. Yeah. Just not enough mana. Can't get swoosh from that down deep, and just like that, it's the 1-1 count.
I wonder if he spooked him from going as deep as he did, because I think he did have enough mana at this portion. Oh, this is stock one, but he did have enough mana to go for the full swoosh. But he'd be sent at the restrictive angle, which means he wouldn't be able to get to ledge. He'd be recovering back to stage. It'd be a tough decision to make in a split second, and every second counts when you are that deep. So just good pressure on Shaine's part to complete the comeback that he couldn't get to in game 1 and even up the set.
And you know, this is exactly what I was referring to, where it's so hard to handle like who's going to come out on top regardless of where the momentum lies. And that really did come down to a last hit situation. Game 3, who knows what's ahead of us? I think at this point, anyone who's stuck around for my Ubel's time tonight here on DNA.EXE has learned that we could sit here quite literally forever theory crafting about the things that Hero does and the things that get done to Hero. It's really all a matter of what actually happens in the game at this point, because there's so many variables that go awry. It's just a matter of waiting to see what ends up being relevant.
And it's interesting to always see that something like Hero develop, because the more that Hero finds more shenanigans that they could do with their incredibly wide kit, I guess is a word I could use for it, the more that core fundamentals of Smash start to matter. Things like stage control really serve a huge part in Hero's game plan, because without that, Incineroar just needs to sit and wait and see how Kage is going to recover. Because there's a lot of times where it's exclusively stage control that lets Kage get away with as much as he does. Where did the whack go?
The whack just sort of fizzles against platforms on the stage. It happened in Winners Finals too. It's very silly. Also, actually, speaking of Winners Finals, one thing that we saw was on reaction to whack. Shaine started to go for revenge. That didn't really end well for him last time, so gotta be careful on that. Although, one thing leading into this game you brought up I really like is like learning about what the characters can do. I feel like is a way of looking at like little picture. Talking about stage control, talking about the offstage play, like general juggling and like player sense, that kind of stuff is the big picture. Hero fills the little picture to the brim. Big picture though, I think Kage needs a pat on the back for how well that he's been playing such an obtuse character.
Yeah, they're one of those characters that just dramatically changes from, like, okay, let me kind of paint this. Most characters, they have a general idea of what they want to do from matchup to matchup. Hero, they need to reconstruct everything they want to go about doing from game to game. And that can be very taxing to play, especially at a high level. So Kage just being able to fall back on some just really strong core ideas, like his ability to pressure in the corner, knowing when to look for grabs, knowing how to hold center stage, and knowing how to anti-air, that's a really good base to really sit on, while you then set up for some of your more extravagant options.
This psych up tilt has actually been inspiring. The amount of times that it has worked so effectively for Kage. Oh, yeah, no, you are DIing really well. Oh, well, damn.
That's a DI of champions. And he's going to need it, given that he's at 154. Yeah, any grab right now will kill on Shaine's part, but the problem is, can he find it? Just narrowly whiffing, but I love the idea that came with it, and the comeback is certainly strong. With a heal boot.
Yeah, you get 3 of those a stock.
I thought it was 2.
I'm pretty sure heal is 3.
Let's find out.
I don't know if the one off of Hocus Pocus counts.
Oh, true. Oh my god. I wasn't even considering Hocus Pocus.
I've just constantly remembered that it's 3 heal. I hate this character, dude. I feel like for people like you and me, who are color commentators, who are like really into the crunchy bits, like, I'm pretty sure by now viewers have gotten that. We're probably the 2 nerdiest, most qualified people to hold a microphone in all of Tri-State. And Hero is a logistical nightmare. There's just way too much.
You could go into like essays about Hocus Pocus and what it provides to Hero in any given moment, and just how the role may or may not be worth it at any given time. Like that, in and of itself, could take minutes. But luckily, at least for us, it doesn't seem like it's Kage's style to risk the biscuit like that.
Yeah, no, plenty of ample rolling with menu selects has been found here in Grand Finals, but marking out whether it's enough or not is actually like a pretty big question. I'm also extremely surprised we have not seen as more Incineroar down air. I think one sour hit has landed throughout this entire game, and I think it's completely absent. Yeah, no. Forward tilt, really weird hitbox? Doesn't matter. Forward air more properly ending out that game. And we have the 2-1 count. Shaine sitting on tournament's game, potentially.
This went from, like, what the heck is this hitbox to, that's a well-spaced hitbox. Like, he goes from the inside hit of F-tilt to sweet spot fair. Oh, psych up tilt. So good.
It's a man's best friend right there.
That's fair. Always. Oh.
You know, it's not flashy by any means, but it's certainly effective.
And that may be the crunchy part of what makes Hero a little bit taxing, at least from a lower mid-level standpoint, is that you can see Hero do basically whatever they want, but you kind of have to roll the dice for it. You roll that d20 and see what happens. So going for the flashy stuff is not always optimal across the board, but it's especially hard to ignore as Hero, because sometimes you don't have a choice of whether or not you go for it or not. And sometimes it's really hard just to rest on your laurels and think that, yeah, I need to stay whelmed and condition jumps for up tilt. It can be hard to have that mentality.
Yeah, no, this is, like, genuinely speaking, like, if you're looking for solid hero play, like, Kage is showcasing that, like, a healthy reliance on good luck and strong fundamental understanding of the character is, like, the proper synergy you need to make Hero really worthy of all the conversation of if the character gets banned. And now none of this matters because we see Sephiroth going into the next game. I hate it here.
Okay, yes, the character swap is a little bit out there, but you know, I love this character, bro. I think they're so cool.
This character, this is a devious counter pick. Oh, Sephiroth can just outright abuse Incineroar. At the same time, though, light character.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more. You lose kind of the defensive game that Hero can supply, where you're constantly waiting and you have a lot of tools to force players to approach, but instead you get a lot of tools that keep players out, which is slightly different, but all the more effective.
Like, I posit the idea that this is the best defensive character in the game. Between Fair, Shadow Flare, the numerous neutral bees, there's so many tools in Sephiroth's kit that just keeps you at a safe distance for him. And you're forced to respect it because it's all devastating amounts of damage and very commanding of stage control.
On top of things like that, like the pin into the stage with Fair adds so many recovery mix-ups, and that's not even including Wing. You know, a little bit of down air for some added stuff. And now we get to see something that Shaine hadn't really been punished with before. He hadn't been shielding all of that much, which means Shadow Flare is so that much more effective. It doesn't have a ton of hit stun, but the mental pressure and the power of an autonomous projectile get to rear its head if your opponent just keeps falling into something like that.
It's also worth noting that when there's only one of the Shadow Flares alive, Revenge is all of a sudden something to worry about. When it's any more than that, all of a sudden Revenge can get punished very quickly. So the onus is on Shaine to make sure that Shadow Flare does not hold a lot of leverage in this matchup.
Three on that time.
That's a lot of grapes. Yeah, see? Revenge, not a lot of doing there.
Only 110 at this point. I mean, Sephiroth can be kind of walking on eggshells if he plays kind of not like how Kage is playing currently. Kage definitely taking a page out of...
That was the most deadly grape we'll ever see on this stream.
Yeah,
one Shadow Flare led to a mistech, and he died while having a pretty important lead. Like, losing a lead against Incineroar, very dangerous. Oh, that's...
just not enough.
Well, that's an interesting approach to Octaslash.
Oh, like as Shaine, yeah. I was like, he just recovered straight up. But countering it, even if you don't get the hit, it's still more than likely going to be a strong hit, and the revenge comes through. 43 is even.
Yeah, this is potentially tournament stock for Kage, just, you know, to recontextualize why the Sephiroth is even here.
Mega Flare can be mighty hard to avoid, but Sephiroth doesn't take many interactions in order to put Sephiroth at kill percent. And Incineroar players know a thing or two about taking stocks at now.
You know, a little bit of rage that sets the tone just right.
I wonder if Kage is going to catch on to how many times Shaine has been rolling after landing a button on shield. Never mind. Wing.
Two missed texts was all it took to bring us to Game 5. The Sephiroth pick ending out to be very strong for Kage, but will it be enough to reset our bracket tonight?
Sephiroth. Now, Sephiroth on FD is kind of a massive beast. While Sephiroth can cover and plays with platforms and covers platforms super well, it's hard to say that this stage is bad for him because of just F-tilt and fair keep you out so well. And on top of wing, you're throwing out a ton of moves with offstage not really being that much of a disadvantage. Wing is so good.
Like, adapting to Sephiroth's tools is going to be the make or break for Shaine here. And I feel like he wasn't even playing the matchup too poorly. I feel like the offstage play was actually looking really solid for him. It was just, missed text is just a super unfortunate way to die out. Like, when you're threatening Sephiroth of all characters, rushing down with a character as slow as Incineroar, you're doing something right. But can't be dying out to little instances like that. No, that could very well be the difference of winning tonight or resetting the bracket, giving Kage enough momentum to potentially take this bracket away from you.
Yeah, it'll depend to see if Kage has faith in the Sephiroth going into Game 5, because this may have been an idea that he wants to test, but he's not certain about closing it out, especially if they go back to a stage he's won on, like Small Battlefield. But I feel like we're going to be seeing this Sephiroth unless something dramatic changes, which looks good for Shaine, because outside of those missed texts, like he was playing extremely phenomenal, and threatening Sephiroth off stage is not something that he has to worry about much because Octo Slash is so big. But what has gotten Shaine as far as he has is making big plays when the time is right and picking the spots to do so. And he was picking his spots real well, just didn't hit the R button.
It's such a shame to see the players like die out to something that's ultimately on them. But
right.
Hey, if he can get himself together, by all means, a well-fought win.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm here for Hero Sephiroth. What a devastating combo.
3, 2, 1.
He likes his anime. He likes his JRPGs.
Apparently, because the Gower Plains FD is going to be our potential setting for the either the end of bracket or the end of this iteration of Grand Finals.
Will we find ourselves at true finals like a WWE character? Yes, they are characters. Would prefer, or do they close it out?
You can only hope the best at this point for both players, but whoa, that one wing is ripped right off. The Alolan Whip opening up Game 5 in explosive fashion.
Right, and that can put a pretty important number in Shaine's head. 75. That's when his kill percent, or at the very least close to kill percent, really starts being on the table, and his options can shift up because of that. Oh, four grapes.
Oh my god, the armor from the victory pose of landing the Alolan Whip protected him from all the grapes. That's actually really important to know moving forward, because it means that he doesn't have to shy away from one of his more aggressive reversal options.
Still getting caught by that down smash, which will have to be something he looks out for if he's going to be playing around Shadow Flare as effectively as he has. Shield and the Revenge are going to be on the menu more often, which down smash punishes so hard. Looking at that magic number. That was such a quick turnaround grab, and the tech chase afterwards.
Oh, opting to just go straight upwards with Crush Chop. Get a little bit more damage on the board. Once again, the wing is live. Will Kage get an opportunity to make use of it this time? Oh.
It wasn't the straight up angle, so the Revenge hit, and therefore comboed into fair. Good recognition. Good awareness.
Oh, on top of that, moving a little bit in Revenge, because Revenge does allow Incineroar to shift a little bit when he makes the finger upwards pose and his belt flashes. Repositioning for a solid hit there is so good control of character. You know, I feel like I spent a lot of time highlighting how good Kage has been piloting around Hero, and to his credit, his Sephiroth's not shabby. But Shaine's control of Incineroar has been fantastic this set. This tournament as a whole.
Yeah, I think for starters, that was super clean. But I don't think it can be understated. For one, doing nothing is really good when you're on stage, not when you're off stage. And it looked like it was a misinput Shadow Flare at the end that costs Kage the chance to reset. Because Sephiroth can absolutely make that comeback, since Wing is the best comeback mechanic in the game, period.
Okay. I hear you.
Yeah. Joker may be a better character, but Wing and its buffs and the stuff that it grants you is better than Arsene.
It really is just Smash 4 Cloud Redux. I'm definitely here for you on that one. But, yeah, no. That Scintilla was a really bold call-out, given that you just get grabbed through it. I like the idea the Shadow Flare was the misinput that ended up being the nail in the coffin. But regardless, Game 5 falls in favor of Shaine, who is our DNA.EXE champion for the night. Very fun to watch. Not often that we get a chance to see Incineroar. There's a couple of them across Tri-State, I guess more specifically New Jersey with Jut and MRW, but
yeah.
Regardless, another one who's going to be taking the cake here for DNA.EXE. Kage has put a valiant effort forward, both in Winners Finals and in Grand Finals, but the Sephiroth was just not up to snuff. I think very fitting of the character's playstyle, the player's playstyle rather, but Hero just has such a massive X factor that I think reliance on the character is not the worst thing.
It can be tricky to solo main any character in this game. Eventually you're just going to come across matchups that are really bad or that you don't like, or both. But Sephiroth's a really, really good secondary if you're going to stick with him. And it looked like he was playing the characters really solid, just was not taking advantage of some of his more like extra tools, and rather playing them how, for sake of example, playing them like how Ned played at InfinityCon in a lot of matchups, where you're spacing out with Fair, you're using a lot of, you're spacing out with Fair, using Flare as more as a bluff than anything, and not oftentimes throwing it out, and Shadow Flare as a deterrent of an approach, which isn't a bad way to play, but against Incineroar, you really need to close out stocks reliably, or else Incineroar will find ways to make you pay for it. And that's letting him live a little bit too long in Game 1, or having just more than interactions and more neutral than he needed to, kind of closed out on top of an unfortunate SD.
And with that, that is going to be it for us tonight. A very fun and hopefully very informative for some of you. And to DNA.EXE, if you want to hear some of us talk about the crunchy stuffs, you can find myself at HangmanXAI on Twitter and on Twitch. Now I'm starting to do VOD analysis on Thursday, so I really get myself into gear for DNA.EXE. But Ubel, where can we find you?
Well, you can always find me right there. That is on twitter.com @UBLSOUL. I talk about the variety of gameplay stuff. I talk about news in the gaming world and in the Smash world, as well as my ever inclusion into the worlds of not only Rivals of Ether, but also game design and development. I frequently post my projects whenever I end up working on them. Sorry, I'm doing a class at college right now, so I'm kind of swamped. But also, I stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on my own Twitch, twitch.tv/UBL267. I've been going through one game per every character in the alternate roster. Right now, I'm playing Metroid Prime, Persona 5 Strikers, and then Sunday is dedicated to Rivals of Ether. So, it's a lot of fun. I should probably do VOD reviews on stream. That also sounds really fun. Make sure to follow Hangman for all of the information on on commentary stuff, because he's the GOAT.
And my best for as anyone who wants, anyone who asks. But that's where you can catch us. We're done for the evening. Once again, Shaine is our champion of DNA.EXE. We will catch you folks next week. Have a good night.
Make sure to follow the channel for all of that Smash updates.